All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Call Allah, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Excuse me. Double honors to my elders, bishops, and apostles of Great Millstone that do well. Peace and salutations to the Lord's elect, to the is edifying as well as exhorting to the sincere sheep of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, and the Wada Abanawa Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Forgive me the inspiration to do this lesson. And as the title reads, from mandatory ID to mandatory mark. All right. And there was some beautiful news that the elders, bishops, and brothers have been sharing, doing lessons on. And, I just want to give my spiritual 2 cents on the matter. All right. You have a implication, okay, of the UK right now. Let me share my screen. Okay. Implication, I think the word is. Where is it? Right here. You got UK, all right, making it mandatory. All right. Look at this. Britain to introduce compulsory digital ID for workers. Digital IDs are being introduced in the UK. Here's what to know. Okay, so right now they're making a mandatory shift for you to be identified digitally and then soon to work. Okay, let me add that into also to work, which they're claiming that the whole reason for this digital ID for work is to thwart illegal immigrants from working illegally. Okay, but that's just the tactics of the accuser to give you a problem to then give you a solution. Okay, just like in the time of Nero, when when they burned Rome or portions of Rome for whatever reasons, I believe it was like for construction, they were doing something. So to get the public's eye off of Nero, he shifted the blame on Jake, us as Christians, Israelites in Rome, and he used us as scapegoats. So Esau uses Jacob as a scapegoat, okay, for many reasons to fulfill an agenda. All right. So this whole mandatory ID, all right, which this isn't nothing new, but this is very major. This is going to lead to a broader mandatory position very soon, which will be a mandatory mark or the MOTB. Okay. The mark of the beast. Now, what's on my spirit to address is the fact that soon we will have to be as pilgrims. Okay. Soon we're going to have to be as pilgrims. Okay. Now, when you look up the definition of a pilgrim, it goes into a pilgrimage. We're pretty much, let me get it for you. Let's do this real quick. I got a couple fun facts for you, some information, and that'll be the lesson. So let's put pilgrim. And this is what Esau claimed. This is what he claimed the title as when he came over here to what you call North America under the doctrine of discovery to justify his actions for stealing this land, enslaving, murdering, raping, robbing, things of that nature, even though it was prophetic. Now, pilgrim means a person whose journey to a sacred place for religious reasons. So this will be Exodus. Okay, so what's on my spirit is to express to the brothers and the very few sincere sisters is as we start seeing this digital rollout, okay, which we've been waiting on, you have to understand that the squeeze is going to get so tight that we will be cut off from the grid, okay, taken out from society. Like, think about credit right now, or why do you think some Jakes got into debt at 3 years old by their parents, okay, because they used their child's name as the straw man or the name for their services on the grid, cable, electricity, running water, gas, things of that nature. So if they're making it mandatory right now in the UK so that you can work, what do you think that's going to slowly do? That's going to slowly phase people out, grinding ceasing, more chaos, more uproars, more of a skirmishes, more people wanting to stand up against the powers that be because they're tightening the squeeze on them. So what I want to do is I want to get this real quick. I want to hold this. Where is it? Yes, let's get this right here. I want to read this. This is a precept to show you how you get cut off from society. Okay, you'll get cut off from society. The brother right here, he said, CBDC.org shows you every nation and their progress transitioning into digital currency. Oh, beautiful. And I'm going to say this too. So today, what also inspired this lesson, not only this beautiful major news according to prophecy, but there's an in particular grocery store that I go to, and I use their ATM. You know, I've mentioned it in the past, you know, and I say it whenever the spirit's on me. Me personally, I only leave enough digital currency on my card for bills. And outside of that, I take the physical currency out just to have it in my possession. And today, when I went to go do that, there was an option on this ATM that I never, ever, ever seen before. And I've used this ATM for years. And all of a sudden, the ATM gave me the option to turn my cash into Bitcoin, which is what? Digital currency. Okay, digital currency. So real quick, I looked this up. I said, what countries have made mandatory digital ID? Countries such as Estonia, Argentina, Colombia, Germany, Italy, Peru, and Spain, okay, have mandatory national digital ID systems, while others like the United Kingdom are in the process of introducing them for specific purposes, such as work. Okay, the mere fact that they're pushing this, not just for a identificational matter, but the fact that they're pushing this, meaning you will not be able to work, you will not be able to buy or sell, okay, and receive payment without this ID, which will lead to what? Then the buying and selling will have to go through the same infrastructure as well. Okay, so they're clearly targeting, all right, the working force of people. And what do you think this is going to do? Okay, so there's a lot I want to say, but let me just keep it for edification. Let's go into this real quick. All right, this is the ill you from society scripture right here. This is Revelations 13 and 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, which you see present, politics, military, okay, the money, all right, the lifestyle. You know, when you look at it across the board, the ancient Roman pagan system, okay, it says that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Now, this word killed means literally, but when you go a little deeper, it means take you out from society, separate you from society. So he is ushering in a separation from society, okay, if you don't have the correct credentials. All right, so let's go to the etymology for the word, look, of separation, of local separation. Okay, so he can take you out of the system. All right, if you're not going to be down with the system, then he will take you out of the system. And this is what we're watching. This is what we're waiting on. And this is why it's on my spirit to push about being a pilgrim. Okay, because there's going to come a time where you're not going to be able to, you can barely afford bills now. You can barely afford bills now. Okay, so now imagine you not being able to afford bills, but now there's a new way that you will be identified to pay the bills that you can't afford. You see that? Everything that's taking place is to benefit the powers that be. Everything that's taking place that they're rolling out and forcing people into is to benefit the powers that be. Okay, this is the attempt of a new order to rule in. And this is why it says in Job, the 5th chapter. Let me go to that real quick, and I want to get some points for you. I did a couple Googles, and I want to share it with you. So let's go to Job, the 5th chapter, real quick. Good news for us. Job 5 and 12. He disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. So this is all pertaining to the enterprise of the elite. Put them as digital. We want to get everybody on the grid. Okay. And then we want everyone right now in a position where they're going to be forced to have to go on the grid, and they're going to be forced to have to do it according to what we require. Otherwise, our system cannot complete the services that we are providing. So it's like a snake, okay? And the snake now is making you get a venom or a anti venom, but he's also biting you. Okay, so let me see real quick. All right, I want to get this pilgrim scripture, but let's see what we got here. Okay, so let's go into this real quick. I said, is a digital work ID being put in place to stop illegal migrants from working illegally? It says yes. That is one of the main air quotations justifications the UK Edomite government gives for introducing digital work IDs. See this? Right to work checks. All right. So he's telling you this is your right to work, but there's a certain implication that you have to go through to have the right to work. Traditionally, this meant showing a physical passport, visa, or biometric resident permit. Now it says, watch this, government stated reasons. The government argues that a digital ID system closes loopholes. Okay, nope, this is to crack down. This is for more control. Okay, he's cutting everyone out so that you have to go through him so everybody can be controlled. All right, control. Now let me see real quick. All right, look at this. Look at this. So now he's claiming it's for immigration. See how they did that? See how under the Biden administration, see how they just opened the floodgates, and now this is how they're handling the water that they allow in. Okay, this is how they're handling. Okay, it's like they sunk the ship, but this is the only people that we're going to allow off the ship. All right, which when they sunk the Titanic, that was to introduce the Federal Reserve Act. Okay, on Jekyll Island. All right, so now let's go down, which J.P. Morgan was supposed to be on that Titanic, and he wasn't. And actually, he had something to do with even the funding of it. All right, so let me check. Now, check this out. Check this out. I said, could Babylon force a digital ID for work to thwart illegal migrants from working in the U.S.? Look at this. That's a sharp question. The U.S. has not implemented a mandatory digital ID, but there are already signs. There are already signs pointing in that direction, mostly around immigration and employment enforcement. See? You see that? So everything is laid perfectly. This is why it's on my spirit to push for brothers and sisters to be mindful, okay, that being on the move in the future when the squeeze is put down, that is something you are going to have to face. Okay, being on the move. All right, it already says we have no continuing city. Let me get this real quick. This is Hebrews 13 and 14. All right, it says, for here have we no continuing city, but we seek one to come. So this is why we're going to be on a pilgrimage, meaning when this thing really goes down. Now, is a digital ID the mark of the beast? No. Okay, you having a digital ID, is that the mark of the beast? No, but this is all leading down the pike to the mandatory implication of the MOTB. Okay, meaning where it's going to go from a digital ID to a digital mark, meaning a scannable device put within, and those records will be classified on a digital cloud. Okay, so hey, we're watching, man. We're watching, we're waiting, we're witnessing, and we're seeing it. So let's exit this one. What did I have? Okay, let me get some points for you. Okay, so we got a couple. The brother also shared that on the CBDC, it also showcases the progress of who's transitioning into digital ID. So look what else I got for you. We got that one. Look at this. I asked a question. I said, to be on the grid, which the grid is electrical, gas, water, indoor plumbing, all those amenities. I said, to be on the grid, can you just use cash for all bills, or would it be inconvenient? It says, yes, you can theoretically use only cash to pay for bills. And I remember waiting in line and paying for my cable bill in cash. Okay, I remember that. Okay, I remember waiting in line. I remember going down to the they called it Niagara Mohawk in Syracuse, but I remember going down to the Niagara Mohawk building to pay outstanding electrical bill in cash. Okay, But now it's just here's my last four numbers, here's my expiration number, here's my CVC or whatever it's called, or CVV, and then boom, these couple numbers that you find on your phone. Okay, that's because majority of all your money in banking is through that device you hold in your palm. And you see these numbers. It once said 311, and then you refresh your page, and now it says 100. Okay, so everything is already set up in a position, but right now nothing is mandatory yet. So theoretically, you can still use money, but watch this. Yes, you can theoretically use only cash to pay for bills and be on the grid in the sense of being connected to essential services, but it would be very inconvenient though. See, it would be very inconvenient though. You see how he's doing that? You see how everything is just slowly closing in. Okay, the walls are closing in. The snake, the serpent, the snake is slowly coiling tighter and tighter to where these people are going to be so broke, so through, so hungry, so desperate that they're going to accept what the powers that be are giving them, because this is the only way that they can receive theoretically services. You see this? This is beautiful, man. So this is why it's on my spirit to push the pilgrimage. Okay, let's actually go into the pilgrimage real quick. Let's go into it. Okay, so let me go into it real quick. I want to share this precept with you. This is Deuteronomy 8:1. It says, all the commandments which I have command thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live and multiply and go in and possess the land which Yahweh Bashmal Shai sware unto your fathers. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy power led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee. So this mark is going to prove you. This mark is going to prove if you truly serve Yahweh Bashmal Shai or not. Okay, like when it says a false prophet arises, a dreamer of dreams, the Lord wants to see if you're going to believe it. Like the rapture thing. If you know you're a Hebrew Israelite and you actually believe the rapture was coming, you need to check your spirit, man. If you actually believe that was going to happen, you got to check your spirit, man. Yahweh Shai said, when they say I'm here or I'm there, do not go. Okay, you need to understand the words that Yahweh Shai said. All right. And it says to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thy heart. See, so the MOTB is going to prove what's in your heart. All right. It says whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger and fed thee with manna. So we've been in a position where we had no food before. We've been in a position where we had no home, no shelter, no dwelling place, no land, no nothing. Okay. Ain't nothing new under the sun. All right. So, but watch, there's more. It says, look, but fed you with manna. So the Lord is going to feed us, and there's one thing that I always say. I like eating food that don't got a fucking barcode. Excuse my language. I like eating food that doesn't have a barcode on it, like it actually doesn't have a barcode. It says, which thou knowest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord does man live. And then Satan tried to use the temptation against Yahweh Shai, and Yahweh Shai had to use this precept against him. So in the time coming, hey, you're gonna have to use this precept against Satan, man. Okay, no, man. The Lord, we don't live by bread alone. So remember, let me go back. This just came to my mind. Remember this? What the hell is that demon's name? De Blasio. Look at this. De Blasio burger. Let's put this in. Look what he say. He said, if you wanted to eat, you know what you had to do. See? So he's going to use this. See that? All right. And they can't take our videos down. Call all y'all Bashmal Shai. All right. We talking our mess now. So they use this, all right, as a means to show you that if you didn't have that, you couldn't eat. So now with the UK saying, if you don't have this ID, you can't work, which inevitably means you can't eat. See? So they're literally targeting the pockets right now. They're not changing the currency per se to a mandatory currency. All All right, meaning they haven't made it to where you still can't use cash, but they're slowly phasing all those means out. Let me further show you. Check this out. So today, when I went to go get cash from the ATM, okay, look at this. Okay, first of all, the grocery store I went to, they when you go to self checkout, you can't use cash at the self checkout, and then subsequently, all right, look right here. See this? All right, where I'm at in upstate New York, if you want to self checkout, you cannot use cash. Okay, if you want to self checkout, you cannot use cash. So see how they're phasing all this. Okay, and then check this out. So not only that, but then when I went to the ATM, the ATM had an option where I could turn my money into Bitcoin. That's never, ever, ever, ever been. Okay. So this is all happening in real time. All right. It says, yes, it is true that newer self checkout machines do not accept cash. It is also possible to find Bitcoin ATMs, digital currency ATMs, operated by third party services in the vicinity of some grocery stores, particularly in Rochester, New York. You see that? So it's happening, man. Okay, what else I got for this one? Look at this. There are over 38,000 Bitcoin ATMs worldwide as of 2025, with the US hosting the majority of these machines. Mark of the beast. Okay, mark of the beast. This is why they say, mark my words. We're telling you the MOTB is the RFID NFC C-hip implant technology, and they're going to make that mandatory for citizens to operate and function on the grid within society. Hence why they're pushing a mandatory digital ID for you to operate and make money within a society right now. And this is why it's on my spirit to express the pilgrimage, man. You're going to potentially have to sleep outside. You're going to have to pray to the Father to start fire. Okay. But we've been in the woods before. We've been down that road before. Now, for me, it is on my spirit to cook outside, know how to start a fire, filter water. And the first thing with all of it is what? Prayer. Okay. The first thing of all of it is prayer. Okay. First and foremost, prayer. But understanding that is a walk that potentially will come across the board as an option for you in your walk. You have to understand that. Okay, you have to understand that as it grows closer to, there's no other option. There's no other way to pay the bills. There's no other way to re-register your car. There's no other way for me to get my paycheck. Okay, then what's the other option? Going off the grid, completely going off the grid. It's slowly approaching. Let me see what else I got for you. Oh, let's go to this. This is 2nd Ezra 16:40. Listen to my message, my people, and get ready for the battle. Okay, you could have in particular cities not have running water, not have electricity. You may have to squat somewhere. Like it may start off with brothers living together. Us getting closer. Moving, things of this nature. Okay, it's gonna get tougher. Meaning the convenience of Babylon won't be so convenient because you're required to get on the ride. Okay. It says, when the disaster comes, you must live as people whose home is not in this world. This is the G&T, by the way. Merchants, let me actually go to this one. 2nd Ezra 16:40. Oh, my people, hear my word, make you ready to the battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. See? Being as pilgrims. All right. So you're going to be transitory. Okay. You're not just going to be stagnant. All right. If that's a part of your walk, others could get roped up and be idled an attempt offered unto idols, which is going to be that mandatory mark. See how it all ties in. All right. It says merchants must not expect to make a profit from what they sell. They must be ready to run for their lives. Their customers must expect to lose whatever they buy. Whoever builds a house should not plan to live in it. Farmers should not expect to harvest their crops or pick their grapes. See, you see that? So everyone in this everyday living on the everyday grind, just trying to make a dollar, trying to make a profit, trying to, plan for this, plan for the wedding, days of Noah. So they're changing the requirements for people to get it how they live, because they want people to live under their thumb, under their grid, under their rulership. Okay. The powers that be are slowly forcing everyone down a funnel path of destruction, man. Okay. And we're witnessing and watching it. Okay. So this is, hey, even Yahweh Shai said before 70 AD, he said, flee ye to the mountains. So you have to understand the fact that, a part of this walk could you be is fleeing. Okay. So we'll see how far it goes within our walk of what we will have to do. You may be in a rural area, inner city, country, but the point is, it's going to get to a point where that mandatory ID leading to a mandatory mark, what are you going to do? Are you going to take a mandatory mark after accepting a mandatory ID? Because like we said, a mandatory digital ID is not the MOTB, but you can see how the mandatory ID will soon lead to a mandatory mark as well, and that mark will link to your ID. It'll link to your digital persona online, or the grid, however they put it, however they word it. Okay, let me see what else I got for you. Yep, they started the Bitcoin 2014, 13. Yep, you can buy Bitcoin, which Bitcoin is digital currency. So they're pushing digital currency, digital identity, and that's going to be leading to what? A physical mark within you to identify you, track you, all of it. Okay, complete control, complete control. All right, let me see what else I got for you. And I wanted to push the fact that, even if there is a pilgrimage, look, Deuteronomy 8:4, thy remnant wax not old upon thee, neither did thy foot swell these 40 years. So even in the midst of that, it says, you shall run and not faint, my servants shall eat. So there's a lot of beautiful things and blessings that are coming our way, but this is the tribulation that needs to happen, not the 7-year trib, all right, which you fucking people that thought the rapture happened. And maybe they'll start saying that. Maybe they'll start saying that people did get raptured and we're just left here in this 7-year tribulation. Acts 7 and what's that, 48? Let me see. Or is it 14? Let me do this real quick. Just came to mind. I think it's 14. Much tribulation. Trib. They say that. Much trib. Yeah, 14. I'll just read this one. Acts 14 and 22. And that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of Yahweh. So this is the walk. This is the journey. This is what it's about. You've seen the book of Eli. Okay, so we're going to wait and see what our in particular lot is when the mark is made mandatory, and then we'll know. You may be in a FEMA camp. You may be idle. You may be on the run. You may give spiritual powers. You may be a martyr. Okay, there's a lot of different avenues to lead us to the kingdom. We're just going to wait and see what the Lord has predestinated for us. But the point is to understand and wrap your head around what's taking place right now. Mandatory digital ID that will lead to a mandatory mark. And you can see it. And they're using the talking point of illegal immigrants as a reason to attack the workforce. See? So they're attacking the workforce right now. All right, with the digital ID. So next they're going to attack your public movement. Hence why he said that you could be killed for not worshiping the image. And that word kill also goes into separating you from society. So you could be separated from society, man. Okay, you will be separated from society while society is going on. Okay, and let's see how people are going to react to this. Okay, there's going to be pushback, but there's also going to be people that give in. All right. That's why it says you'll be had in derision. So I just wanted to do a quick lesson on that. Probably go more into it tomorrow at camp, but I just wanted to touch on it real quick. It was mainly on my spirit to speak about in these times that are approaching, the option of being a pilgrim when that opportunity presents itself, when there's nothing else to do that you can do. Okay. In the midst of survival. Okay. Because what's going to happen when, the next step of the mandatory is an implant. Okay. So I just wanted to do that quick lesson. I pray that it was edifying. I just want to say, call halal, abanawa, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to my elders, bishops, and apostles of Great Millstone that do well. Peace, safety, and salutations to the Lord's elect. With that being said, shalom.